Welcome to Vin and Mike, episode 83. Happy Friday, Mike.
What's up, Vin? Happy Friday on this hot one in Jersey.
Oh, whoa, what happened there?
Wait, cut it off.
What are you doing over there? Shut everything off. You good?
We gotta start again.
Let's start again. We're live. We can't start again. It's all good. Yeah, a little fun episode 83 start.
A little blooper start. I have no idea what happened. That was the weirdest thing ever.
A little technical difficulties.
What was that?
It sounded like you had YouTube up, maybe.
Oh, I had YouTube up and that.
Yeah,
that's why I saw the double.
Yeah. You were checking things out and forgot to shut it off, but that's okay. Listen, hey, it happens.
We're all human.
People will go on and be like, "What the hell are these two idiots doing now?" Let me just get to a little official business. KKFI, Kansas City. How are you?
What's up, KC?
Yeah, they're excited. I don't think they're excited about baseball, but they're excited. Pat Mahomes is coming back.
He's back.
The website, vinandmikepodcast.com. Check it out. Go to the store, purchase a shirt, charity, good stuff. A lot of good people. Stickers, iPad covers. There's all kinds of fun stuff on there. So check it out. If you want to, fan of the show, knowing that any proceeds from that goes to charity. So Appreciate everybody that has purchased stuff over the last, it's been a while, right? About 6 months, 8 months that we've had the store. Yeah. Over a year for the website, which we know.
Cool. It's cool the kind of products that you can get pretty much anything. I mean, it's pretty cool.
And then you can check around other stores. There's other stores connected there on the website. Other products. People are creating their own drawings and creating their own shirts and a lot of fun stuff there. But all right, Mike.
Yes, sir.
I had to take a drink there.
Out of your Raiders excitement. Your Raiders glass.
I always have. Listen, no matter what. I always have a Raiders mug, a Raiders glass, a Raiders shirt. I'm always supporting my team, even though we might be the worst team in football. But I'm always supporting my team. I'm a little concerned, with this whole running back situation, but we'll dive into that in a little bit. But I want to start, if you're okay with this, I'd like to start with our New York Mets here because I was kind of shocked that I'm guessing sometime late last night, early this morning, that David Robertson was traded for 2 minor league prospects to the Marlins. So the Marlins are the buyers. The Mets are the sellers. I really thought the Mets would, put their best foot forward here with 60 games to go and really try to turn it around. But I guess they've realized, let's start dumping some salary, let's save some money and rebuild for next year. How are you feeling about it?
That's exactly what they did. I think they conceded for the season. I mean, that's exactly what I think happened here. They realized that, you know what, it's not happening between injuries and just not hitting the ball and bad plays on the field. So they're starting now to really prepare for next year. I'm sure, we follow the Yankees. We're huge Yankees fans. So we have to ask ourselves, how would we feel if the Yankees did something like this? But I think the Mets are in a much worse place than the Yankees, to be honest with you, where they are. So I can understand where they're coming from. But it's just when you do something like that, you're definitely conceding.
Yeah, I'm shocked. I'll be interested now to see, as we move towards this deadline here on Monday, if they can move a Scherzer. Or if they try to move a Scherzer, will they try to move a Verlander? According to Epler, the GM, he says they're listening to everybody, and they're going to do what's economically correct for the team. So very interesting. If there's like Lindor's big contract, I doubt anyone would ask for him in a trade, but who knows? Again, those two big pitchers both making, $40+ million a season. Would somebody that needs a big arm that's in a good spot, make that kind of trade. I don't know. I think it's very interesting to see, where the Mets are. They spent a ton of money this offseason. They tried to
that's an understatement.
They try to spend even more money, right? They try to get Carlos Correa. I mean, they were, and now it's just like, they're the fifth worst team in the National League.
Right.
So I'm just
look at the expectations at the beginning of the year.
Oh yeah,
and where this team is.
They won 100 games last year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the expectation had to be
it just took such a dive, and you're right. The amount of money that Steve Cohen put into this team, and the results are just extremely disappointing.
Yeah, it's been crazy. Talking to some of our Mets friends, they seem like they're okay with being sellers. They want to tear it down and start over again. I don't know. I'm never into that, right? I'm like my team. I always want to win. Like I always feel we still have a chance until we don't have a chance anymore. I want to add somebody that maybe can help us instead of eliminating that guy. But I guess it is what it is.
And you know what? We always talk about the prospect situation. It's like playing roulette. That's what. But I think where they are right now, they say to themselves, you know what? We have nothing to lose at this point.
Yeah. Well, the one prospect that they got was the 18-year-old infielder. I forget his name. But I just read real quickly that he's projected to probably be in the majors by the start of the 2026 season. So I would guess that's a second baseman, for them. So that kind of move that they're projecting 3 years out. But I'm surprised. Like I said, I'm just surprised. I didn't expect them to be a seller. As much as I think it makes baseball sense, I just was surprised.
Yeah.
All right. And then across town, our New York Yankees, and off the injured list, back, Aaron Judge tonight. Big series, Baltimore. Probably, the next 10 games are huge for the Yankees across the board. But especially starting tonight, Baltimore, who's in first place, right? Judge is back. We need him. We need him in that middle lineup. But I don't know. Expectations can't be for him to come out and hit 2 home runs tonight. I mean, he hasn't played.
Oh, Vinny
played in 2 months.
No. Listen, the hype is there. We all miss Aaron Judge. We joked around that without him, with all his injuries, he still led the team with home runs and RBIs. I mean, the Yankees have – you can't expect one player to come back and work miracles. He's definitely going to have an impact, but you're right. You can't have unrealistic expectations. I mean, when you have even against the Mets, you have Anthony Rizzo who has no hit. I mean, you're getting very limited production right now. Who was the only person that really produced against the Mets last game, even though they won 3-1? Bader? That was it.
Yeah.
That was it. And maybe LeMahieu. Everyone else, no hits. Maybe get a hit. He's not going to –
LeMahieu basically walked the entire Mets series. I think he had 6 walks in those 2 games.
I mean –
we need well, listen, it's proven that when he's in the lineup, they win more. His OPS before he got hurt was basically on track, the same as when he hit 62 home runs last year. So he didn't fall off as far as any of those offensive numbers, as far as the team winning around him, as far as them playing better around them. We just need him in the lineup. We know he's going to probably bat second. I didn't see if the lineup came out yet, but probably going to bat second. And it just lengthens the lineup, and it just puts somebody that's big in it, especially now when they got 3 games against Baltimore, 3 games against Tampa, and then 4 games against Houston. These next 10 games are essentially the season. You cannot go 3-7 or 2-8 in over these next 10 games. You have to have at least 6 wins here. You have to. You got to get at least 6-4. I don't know if they're going to get there, but we got to get 6 wins. They moved Garrett Cole up tonight to pitch because they knew how important this first game is. They pushed Clark Schmidt back. So they know how big it is, and that's why Aaron Judge was not doing any rehab assignment. He's just right in the lineup and just go.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. I feel you said it best a week or two ago. This team is a 500 team at best.
I know.
I mean, honestly, where they are right now with the lack of hitting, they should be lucky. But these series coming up, you're not facing easy teams. The games that were easy or supposed to be, they had such a poor record.
Terrible.
That's where they could have gained some ground.
I know. That's where they were supposed to gain ground, and then be in position to make a run for either the division or the wild card with these 10 games. Now it's like these 10 games could essentially put us like out of the race altogether.
I know.
And then that's it. Season's over. I mean, season's over. Think about it. If they get swept by Baltimore this weekend, they're going to trade guys come Monday, right? Yeah. They're going to be sellers too, because they would be 54 and 51. They would fall 11 games behind Baltimore. I don't know where they would be in the wild card, but I'd have to figure that out. But they would essentially be in very big trouble going to play Tampa. So very big trouble. I don't want it. I don't want to go on an Aaron Hicks rant anymore. I don't go on those rants anymore.
I think you took a break.
I don't have anyone I dislike like Joey Gallo and Aaron Hicks anymore. Maybe it was Josh Donaldson, but he tore his quad, so he's.
I think you're so numb to it right now that you can't even talk about it.
You think I'm just mad at everybody?
Because I think you're mad at everybody. I think you would take it out on everybody right now.
I tell you, I want this Volpe kid to really come through.
I think he can.
I really want to see him bat like 250 by the end of the year. Can he raise his average 40 more points over the next 2 months here? Can he? I mean, I just want to see him hit a little bit more. I know he's like, you can see he's really like zoned in. He's trying. You can see he's trying. He's giving it his all up there.
Yeah.
I just want to see him be better. I want Stanton not to get hurt. I don't want Judge to get hurt anymore. Rizzo, I think ever since Rizzo ran into the guy in the infield and got like that concussion, he's not been the same player. He got that was like right before Judge got hurt. He ran into that guy or right after, and then he was like concussed, and he hasn't been the same player since then. So I don't know.
Look at Gleyber Torres. Like, I don't know.
Hey, well, listen, Garrett Cole has been the best pitcher in the American League, and we can't win when he's on the mound.
You can't. He pitches phenomenal, but between the bullpen and the hitting,
it just like falters. So, all right, we'll see. Maybe we'll have when we come back, in a week and a half from now and have the show, maybe we'll feel a lot better. Maybe this 10-game series will be 8-2 and right in the hunt and feel like we're gonna have a very good Vin and Mike podcast.
You know what? I'm not. As crazy as this sounds.
Yeah.
Every time you've been upset with the Yankees,
yeah, maybe
you should have went on more of a rant, because every time that you do, they turn it around. Oh. Now I feel like you were so quiet.
54 and 48. They got 60 games to go.
There's a lot.
They're a 500 team, and they go 30 and 30. They'll be 84 and 78. It's just not good enough.
No, it's not.
They have to figure out a way to win 37, 38 games here over the next. They got to go 38 and 22 over the last 60 to get the 92 wins. Probably 90 wins will get you that third wild card spot. But I don't want them to get a third wild card spot. I want them to, be in the hunt for the division, be in the hunt, right in the middle. I know everyone else is ahead of them, everybody. Like even Boston's ahead of them. Who's the worst? Not fielding. Is it fielding or base running? It was their base running. The worst base running I've ever seen when they played the Mets last Sunday night. I couldn't believe they got thrown out all over the field. They should have beat the Mets by 30. if they could run the bases. I couldn't believe it. Oh my God. So, all right, Mike. I want to get your thoughts on this. This is important. Aaron Rodgers said, I'm giving back $35 million in my contract. Now, again, I don't know how that's split up. I don't know if it's 17 and a half each year. I don't know if he just says, here's 35 million from this year or 35 million from next, but it seems like it frees up some cap space. Dalvin Cook visited today. There's a lot of optimism that he's probably going to sign and play with, until Breece Hall gets better and play side by side, and each of them carry the ball, 10 to 15 times. But all that said, I just want to know how you feel about your quarterback. The guy that you were complaining about, before you played.
I always no. Okay.
You complained. Complained.
I always admit to it.
Right. You complained. But let me hear. I think he's much more of a team player than he's ever been.
Hear me out, everybody. Ready for Jets talk? When this first was going on, and we were looking at all different quarterback options, Aaron Rodgers had a different attitude, or at least portrayed by our great media. Right? I'm kind of taking out of context. And what was said was that obviously it took a long time for him to become a Jet. Certain speculation was happening. And the attitude was that he wanted to play with veteran people and people at his standards. That's what was told by the media. So when we're doing our research and listening, and you hear this, and a team that's been suffering for so long, hasn't been in the playoffs since 2010, and the guy has like a 2-year window, of course you're going to be upset. So I was, rightfully so. I think most Jets fans were. And then you see in the offseason his attitude, going to all the sports games, just being so psyched, getting to know the players, and you just see his attitude, and it's bringing a big hype to New York. So I have changed my ways. I see the good attitude. And this was the last thing that really put me on cloud nine. That this guy gave up $32 million to give the Jets the opportunity to grow even more, because he knows in his head, he wants to win. He's won one Super Bowl long time ago. He wants to do it again. He wants to give them every option to do that. It was just an unbelievable gesture. And if you're a Jets fan, how can you not love that? So I'll say this again, that, initially when things were going on, I was looking at different quarterbacks and who would be best for the Jets, and looking at all the options that, I saw, what was portrayed, and I had to, being on this podcast, I had to just say how I felt, but I'm always fair in judgment, and I will admit to stuff that I said. I did it on, I think, last week or a week or two ago, and Vinny knows that, and that's why he's smirking right now, and he's putting me to the test again. But no, I think it's really awesome, and I don't think I've been as excited as a Jet fan for any season like this one, because we finally have a team that's built. You have a quarterback who's excited to be here. You have a veteran quarterback who's been successful, that really wants to take this team to the next level. You have a coach that's so passionate about his team, who's a player's coach. You even have Zach Wilson now, taking the mentorship from Rodgers. You're seeing his attitude adjustment. Everything's really flowing in the right direction. But I don't get too optimistic, because you can't. You got to take it one game at a time. One funny thing I want to call out our friend Corey Vanoia, who always listens to the program. Every year we try to go to a Jets road game. Coincidentally, it's always been Cleveland. They're not playing the Cleveland Browns till December 28th, which is going to be freezing. But what we said to each other the other day was, if the Jets are in first place or vying for first place and they're right there, we're going.
Yeah, and it could be a good Cleveland team, because Watson might have them in a different direction, and it could definitely be a very interesting game for playoff implications as well. So but let's be fair. The optimism is there.
It's there.
Because this is the best quarterback you've had in your entire history. It's true. You know, he is not only that, he's one of the top 20, and you could probably go 15. You might even go, depending how you feel, 10 quarterbacks in the history of the sport. So he's definitely the best quarterback you ever had. He's one of the top, let's just say 15 quarterbacks to ever play the game. And like you said, a motivated guy that was at OTAs, was at concerts, was at the Knicks playoffs, the Rangers playoffs, all this stuff in New York City, and was the first guy to arrive that day, right? When they went to training camp, right? They had the video of him walking in from the parking lot, the whole thing. And then don't forget, you're going to see all this stuff on Hard Knocks next week, right? Right? It starts next Sunday.
It starts, and I'll tell you, like
6, right?
Everything is Jets right now.
Yeah,
a hype, and I don't think it's just a New York hype, Vinny. I think it's a national hype.
Oh,
I really do. I do.
Yeah, I think Rodgers has it's the second largest jersey purchases this offseason, something like that.
Yeah. I was given a gift of a Rodgers jersey for my birthday. Wear it in pride. I'm also going to put this out there. I truly believe that first game against the Bills, Monday night, September 11th, will probably be the most watched opening Monday Night Football game maybe ever. I do. I think there's so much hype, and you have two great teams, two great corps, Allen versus Rodgers, AFC East. I think it's going to be huge.
Well, the New York City market is going to be very big that night, right? And as we know, the New York City market is 40, 50 million people within a 100-mile radius. So it could definitely be a very hyped game. It's very exciting for New York, to have the Jets looking like they're going to be a playoff contender, potential, deep in the playoff contender. The Giants getting Barkley signed and now having him back in the mix was huge when everybody thought he was going to sit out and all this stuff. That, he said he had an epiphany that, it made no sense for him to sit out, that he was not going to increase his value doing that. He felt it would be better to come in. So all that connection in New York. And like I said, we get a little baseball run here. We get a little Knicks run and Nets run again. September, October, all that stuff becomes very wild around here. And the media attention becomes big. And if this guy comes out on Monday night and beats Buffalo in the first game, it is going to be crazy hype September 12th on that Tuesday morning, in New York.
We'll have to do the podcast the next day for sure. We'll have to do a Tuesday edition.
Yeah, well, we try to. So as our audience knows, we try to increase our podcast during football season because we just love it. We love Thursday night football. We love Monday night football. We love our Sundays, red zone. I'm a fantasy nincompoop, so I just sit there and want to know everything going on with my fantasy teams and all this stuff. So it's all connected. So we want to talk about it. That's really what it comes down to. It's one of the bigger reasons we started the podcast almost year and a half now, right?
Year and a half.
Yeah. I mean, it's the reason why we're on episode 83 here, and all that stuff. So I'm very excited for football. I'm not really excited for my team. This whole Josh Jacobs thing is driving me crazy. Now I'm reading that they offered him a contract that would have made him one of the top 5 paid running backs in the NFL. Come on, Josh, let's go. You're not going to get Christian McCaffrey money. No one's getting that.
But do you feel that's an indication they're comparing themselves to the quarterbacks and saying, if these guys could get it, I could get it, I deserve it, and I need this?
Listen, I get it as a skilled player that you look at maybe the wide receivers as your comparison. You can't look at the quarterbacks as the comparison. The quarterback position is just a whole different animal. But I'm guessing as a running back coming out of college, being a pro running back, you look at the receivers, and these receivers make 20, $25 million a season. The top running back, McCaffrey, is making 16, 18, something like that. So, everybody wants to be on that same even playing field. Problem is probably McCaffrey for the position right now is overpaid. Not, and not saying that the worth is not there, but it's probably overpaid. And the problem with running backs is there's a short shelf life, and now coming out of college, getting your first contract for 4 years. Let's just say you come out of 22, you get your first rookie deal to 26, and then they give you a second deal that gets you to 30, and that's probably it. You're probably not getting another veteran deal at 30 years old.
Yeah, true.
So you get your rookie deal, and then you get your one contract, and that's all these guys are now coming into this one contract, and they're all looking for 15, 20 million a season, guaranteed of 50, 60 million, and teams look at it and go, well, look, Ezekiel Elliott's 28 years old and is falling off a cliff. I don't want to pay you more money, or I'll give you a 2-year deal. I don't want to give you a 4-year deal, and then you fall off the cliff at 28 because the wear and tear. And that wear and tear starts in high school. It's goes to college. That's why a lot of these teams like to draft running backs out of college that only have like 100, 150 carries in college,
right?
And maybe only play 2 years, and then they have a lot less wear and tear on them, so they get a lot more out of them in the NFL.
Makes a lot of sense.
There's only so many Frank Gores out there, right? There's only, like I said, there's only so many Tom Brady's and Frank Gores in this world. Now, the both of them have gone back on the UFOs that landed out in the desert, and they're back out into their natural habitat, as testified in Congress the other day.
Oh my goodness!
So let me ask you:
Mm-hmm.
you hear this stuff about UFOs, and then you see, like what's your first thought?
I don't know. Like,
wait. Let me ask you this: have you ever seen anything weird in the sky?
Of course, I have. Yes.
So I think we all have, right? Like,
yeah.
Something that just doesn't look like a plane or a helicopter or a nuclear missile, right? Like, it's just something that's like totally different, right?
1,000%.
Yeah. I always thought it was military, like future kind of like planes and stuff, and they were just testing them.
So is your question, do I believe in it?
What did you think when you heard this whole like Congress thing and this guy the whistleblower testifying that there's a secret plan of reverse engineering UFOs and we have biological people, That's what I think. I'm telling you, that's how they made Tom Brady.
I don't know, man. I think it's a little far-fetched. It's just like, but I do think that, I can't tell you where I was. I don't remember, but we've all seen weird things, right? Oh, yeah. It's hard to think that the human race is the only thing out there. There's got to be something else. I don't know.
There's the TB12s.
The TB12s.
They're all over the place.
No, it's crazy though. So
I tell you, I was, I started doing some fantasy analysis very early, and one of the guys that I moved up my quarterback chain, not that he's down there anyway, but I was moving him more towards even like being the first quarterback taken due to the fact that he never played in preseason since he's been drafted. That's Joe Burrow. Right. So I'm like, he's going to have his first preseason. He's actually going to play. Those first 4 weeks are not going to be as bad as they've been in the past. He's going to really be like right at it right away. You're going to see a big difference from him. Remember he tore his ACL that 1 year. He had problems his rookie season. Last year he had the appendicitis. Now, of course, he goes out there and he rolls out to his right and it hurts his calf. But I don't know if you saw the video. It looked like to me, and it was hard for me to tell, but maybe someone in our audience can let us know. It looked like he was wearing some kind of like calf sleeve on his leg to begin with. So I wonder if he already like had a little bit of a issue there, and he just totally aggravated. So I'm reading, according to Zach Taylor, he's out for a few weeks. I don't know what that means. You know, is it a Giancarlo Stanton few weeks that is 12, or is it 2 weeks? Right? I don't know what a few weeks is, but now the guy's gonna miss preseason again.
I know.
Another year that he has no preseason. Like no.
That's a good trivia question.
Like every year.
I know.
Every year. So, have you been playing the Chuckle? So, for people that don't know,
you sent it to me.
Pretty cool. I'm going to tell everyone to go to it right now.
Go ahead.
Oh, chuckle.com. So,
I'm going to pull it up.
All right. I did mine today, but I want to. So, it's chucklegame.com. Sorry, chucklegame.com. All right. So, basically, what it is, just for our audience to know, is it takes the 4 major sports. It gives you a clue, and you have to guess either a player or a team of the 4 major sports. So I'm gonna give you. You want me to give you today's? I'll read them. You don't have to do it. I'll just read it off and see how you do.
Okay.
All right. Ready?
Yep.
All right. Okay. Question 1 is: we have never won a championship.
Can I guess right now?
Yeah.
Detroit Lions.
Okay, no. Question 2.
Oh.
We won a pair of playoff series in 2022, which is just one less than we had won over the rest of our history.
Say that one more time.
We won a pair of playoff series in 2022, which is just one less than we had won over the rest of our history.
Jeez. Okay.
So never won a championship. And won a couple playoff series last year, but in their whole history, they've only won 3.
Do you know what it is?
Yeah, I guessed it. I'll tell you when I got it right.
Go ahead.
All right. So, question 3: a first ballot Hall of Famer who played for us from 1982 to 2001 is our all-time leader in almost every offensive category.
Oh, it's Ripken. It's the Orioles. No, is it?
No,
it's not the Orioles.
No, they won.
They won championships. The Orioles. They've won championships.
Yeah.
So they played from 1982 to what?
2001.
Oh my God!
I know. I got it on the 4th one, just so you know. So the next clue is when I got it.
Okay, go ahead. I probably won't get it.
Next clue.
Yeah.
The only major exception to that is home runs. Nate Colbert is our all-time home run leader with 163. So this guy was a Hall of Famer, played from 82 to 2001. He's their all-time leader in almost every category except home runs. They never won a championship, and they were in the playoffs in 2022.
I'm blanking. Who?
Okay. Ready? This is where you might get it now. We have shared our city with an NFL franchise and 2 different non-overlapping NBA franchises. But the last of those 3 left town in 2017.
We shared? One more time. Sorry.
We shared our city with an NFL franchise.
Share our city with an NFL franchise.
And 2 different non-overlapping NBA franchises. But the last of those 3 left town in 2017.
I'm blanking, Vin. I can't.
Right. And here's the last clue. Our home stadium is Petco Park.
What is it? I'm so stupid. What is it?
San Diego Padres.
San Diego Padres. Oh my God! I should. Oh my God!
But this is so every day.
So was it Tony? Was it Tony? Was it Tony Gwynn? 80. Yeah. That's what I see.
Yeah. I didn't know who Nate Colbert was, But when I saw like the home runs and the lack of home runs, I figured it had to be like a Wade Boggs, like or Rod Carew or someone like that. But then Gwynn hit my head because we were just talking about him the other day with the strikeouts, you
We
know.
were.
So I looked up Nate Colbert, right? Because I had no clue who Nate Colbert was.
Yeah, who is he?
So he was an expansion player when they became an expansion team in 1969, right? But listen to his numbers in his 6 years with the Padres, right? Ready for this? The guy batted 255, 24 home runs, 66 RBI in 1969. Then he batted 259, 38 home runs, 86 RBI in 1970. 264, 27 and 84. 250, 38, 111, 270, 22 and 80. And then he started having some really, really bad back problems and fell to 207 with 14 and 54. So he had 5 nice years there back in like the early 70s when home runs weren't, like you hit 20 home runs back then. That was a lot. You hit 38. That was a ton of home runs to hit like back then. So he was a nice player for them. He was part of their expansion team. They were like the worst team in baseball for like 6 years. But I didn't even realize the Padres had been around that long.
I didn't realize that either, and I just went totally blank. And then when the first, I don't know, like Cal Ripken came to my, and then I had to stop it. Because,
well, who came to my head was Robin Yount.
From the Brewers?
Yeah, so I guess the Brewers on my third guess. And then when I saw the home runs, then I just had to like think a little bit, and then I just.
And then when you said the stadium, it didn't even click with me.
Yeah, but I thought you would get it with the NBA franchises. I thought you would think of like the Clippers.
The Clippers. It's just because that was so long ago. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, and then I thought you maybe would get it with the Chargers too, since they moved out.
No,
it's cool. It's a fun game to play every morning.
But I'll post it on our Instagram.
Yeah, the other day they had Jameis Winston, they had Larry Doby, they had what's his name, Bruce Smith. They had all like those are all like the different guesses. So it's kind of like the first clue is always like a super guess. Like you said, you just threw out Detroit.
I just said Detroit Lions.
Right. And that's the thing. You don't know which sport it's going to usually go to on the first clue. It could change.
What other NFL franchises have not won a title? There you have Detroit Lions. Let's think.
Well, you got the Texans and the Jaguars, right? You got the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
You got Atlanta, right? Atlanta never won. Yeah, Atlanta. Like you said, Detroit. Minnesota. Yeah, Minnesota won early. They're early.
They did.
Yeah. Did they win early? I think they did. I think they won Super Bowl like 4 or something like that. Or maybe not. Super Bowl 5. I think they won one of those early Super Bowls. I think. Buffalo has not. They lost all 4.
That's right. You know what's crazy? That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That was a great television about the 4 lost championships, and then I mean, that was really well done.
Well, it's kind of funny. I was, as you know, my brother's a huge Eagles fan, and I said, "You guys better not become the Buffalo Bills of the 2020s here."
Of course, you said that.
This Pat Mahomes guy could, come out and beat you every year, and then Joe Burrow or Justin Herbert or Josh Allen or someone else gets on a roll. And before you know it, the AFC is like the dominant team, like similar to the NFC, right, where the Cowboys and the 49ers literally dominated, and on top of the Giants and the Washington team and all that, dominated the NFL, right? And the AFC never had a chance and the Bills never had a shot. So it could be the reverse where, you go to all these Super Bowls and poor Jalen Hurts just can't figure out how to get over the top.
Yeah.
Yeah. I tell you, you look at those Bills teams and there is a lot of like really good to great players that probably would be in the Hall of Fame if they won like one.
Oh, yeah. And you think about the difficulty to get back to the Super. It's hard enough to make a Super Bowl. We talked about Tom Brady freaking winning 7. I mean, just incredible.
Yeah. Yeah.
How hard it is to get back into it. They did it 4 straight years. It's unbelievable.
Tom Brady was in 10 Super Bowls.
10 Super Bowls, won 7.
Amazing. I mean, like just to get to 1. Like Aaron Rodgers has been to 1, right?
Right.
He won, like I said, he's one of the all-time greatest quarterbacks. Drew Brees, right? Dan Marino. You could go even Peyton Manning, who people say might be top 2, 3 quarterback. He was in 4 Super Bowls. He won 2, lost 2, but only 4. Brady's in 10. 10. Joe Montana was only in 4.
Right.
It's insane. Like you're not supposed to win all the time.
No.
Especially now with the way sports is with parity and all this, you're not supposed to win.
I was even looking at hockey. Like I was just watching. I used to follow hockey a lot more than I do now. The Islanders with that dynasty team in the early 80s, they won something like 19 consecutive playoff series.
Wow.
But now I think it's so much harder now because there's more teams. But to just get back to that kind of feat is so difficult, right?
Yeah.
So then they ask that question, do you consider the Bills to be a failure? And it's the way you really look at it, right? It's your perspective of what those teams did. And damn, for Marv Levy and then Jim Kelly, I wish they won 1. But I think that the team will always be people are going to perceive them, most people, as, the Bills, the team that lost 4 straight. But then there will be people out there, that you look at perspective and say, hey, you know how hard that is? Like, mad respect for the Bills. So,
and to be very fair to the Bills, and this is very fair, they lost to Bill Parcells, Joe Gibbs, and Jimmy Johnson. They lost to 3 Hall of Fame football coaches, right? And in each level, like that 90 Giants team, probably wasn't as good as that Washington team. And we know those Dallas teams were superior to everybody for a while there. So they ran into not only superior teams, they ran into superior coaches. As great as Marv Levy was, I don't think he's as good as Parcells or Gibbs or Jimmy Johnson, right? So it was very tough, like at every single level. You got to remember, Belichick was the Giants' defensive coordinator in the first Super Bowl.
Right.
So they ran into giants of the games, no pun intended, but it just, you think about the guys that played on those teams, Lawrence Taylor, all right?
Yeah.
Michael Irvin, Emmitt Smith, it's just like incredible guys, as much as they had, like you said, Kelly and Andre Reed and Thomas and Bruce Smith and those guys, it's just a little bit more on that side, but that's sports. Sports is so close at that level. It's just so close. It's like when you watch the Olympics with the swimmers and they win by like 0.1 seconds or 0.2. And that's really what it is. It's literally a 0.1 or 0.2. Football, sometimes it's that extra inch, that extra yard. Who can make a 40-yard throw, but he threw the ball 39 yards, right? It's like all that stuff. So I tell you, I was watching, again, a little bit of the Jets practice with Rodgers trying to throw the ball to Garrett Wilson while Sauce is covering him. Man, that Sauce Gardner can cover guys. He is. Now, I don't like to compare him to Hall of Fame players because I don't think that's fair to him at this point in his career or to the Hall of Famer. But his body style, the way he covers, his height, his range, he's like old school Mike Haynes. I don't know if you remember Mike Haynes that played for the Patriots and then the Raiders in the 80s. Mike Haynes was like long. He'd get up in your face. It was hard to throw the ball over him. It was hard to, like catch him on a crossing route. He always could play man defense. And he's one of the all-time great, corners in the history of the game. that's his body style, and his game is very close to that in a strange way. It'll be interesting to see, another year under his belt, how much better he's going to be this year.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I can't wait. Can't wait to see
I
it.
didn't, like Darrell Rivas, another guy, right? Like all-time great. This guy is like, I'm gonna step in there and be what Darrell Rivas was, and we have Aaron Rodgers now instead of Mark Sanchez.
You admitted you're hyped up for the Jets.
I'm interested. I tell you, I'm interested. Like I said, those first 6 games are very interesting to me. I want to see how good that team really is going to be. I want to see how good Aaron Rodgers is going to be in these first 6 games, and then go from there.
Yep. That's really going to – I'll say I really think that first game against the Bills we talked about last week is – I know it's only game 1, but to me, like you said, if the Jets can win that game, the momentum going into Dallas week 2, they need that.
Well, you got to remember, you're gonna have all these. You're gonna have Thursday night, right? I think it's Chiefs Lions. So Friday that's all you're gonna talk about is was Mahomes good? Was Jared Goff bad? Like that's all you're gonna hear. And then after they talk about that, then you're gonna have all the pregame for Sunday. Monday's gonna come. That's all everybody's gonna talk about is everything on Sunday. Then Monday night's gonna roll in. And all everybody's going to talk about on Tuesday is Aaron Rodgers. And it's not even going to be Josh Allen. It's going to be Aaron Rodgers. And what he did right and what he did wrong and all this stuff and why they won or why they lost. That's
a prediction.
It's going to be a very crazy September 12th. And it's going to lead you right into the following week on, you get the short rest. So you got to get right back out there. And you got tough games. First, like I said, the first 6 are tough.
I know.
Just don't go 0-6.
Vinny?
Just don't do it. No. Don't do it.
Not going to happen.
I don't want to tell you that the Raiders are 1-5 and you're 0-6. I just don't want to tell you that.
Not going to happen. You're such an ass.
Do you think my Raiders can win more than 5 games? I don't think so. I think, by the way, how do you feel about Sean Payton annihilating your offensive coordinator? It's the worst coach team he's ever seen in 20 years.
I know. Like, what is that? Like, why would he? I don't know.
Maybe he doesn't like Hackett.
I don't think he likes him. He's just trying to stir trouble.
But so we got the Broncos.
I think he walked back on those remarks, though.
He probably did. Broncos, Chargers, and Chiefs in our division. We're not better than any of those 3 teams. We're just not. I don't know if we can win 5 games.
Let's look at your schedule real quick. Let's bring it up. Let's get 5 games out of this. Ready?
Okay, come on. Give me some Carolina Houston. Come on.
All right, here we go. Your first, the Broncos, Raiders, loss. Bills, Raiders.
Oh my God, go ahead.
Loss. Steelers, Raiders.
Maybe.
I'll put that as a maybe. Raiders, Chargers.
Is it in Los Angeles?
It's in somewhere.
Right. Yeah. Whatever. Go ahead. We're not winning that.
Packers, Raiders.
Win that game.
Patriots, Raiders. Loss.
People win that game.
I don't know. Raiders, Bears. You guys can win that.
That game. We got some winnables there. Okay.
Raiders, Lions. I'll put that as a loss. Raiders, Giants. I'll put that as a loss. Mm-hmm. And then the big November 12th game, I'm putting it as a loss against the Jets. Woof. Raiders, Dolphins. Are they going to lose to all the AFC East?
I know. We play.
Wait, this is a hard stretch. All right. So
we play the AFC West, our own division. We're the only bad team probably in that division. And then we play the AFC East, which might be the best division in football.
I think you could beat the Colts.
Maybe. We might get 5 wins.
I think you get 6.
We get 6.
Or maybe even 7 if I'm nice.
If Jimmy Garoppolo can have a big year, do a bunch of Vegas shows out there.
He's gonna have the time of his life.
Oh, that guy, man. You know, all I know is I'm happy he passed his physical. His foot's good. He's gonna
Yeah.
start, but we don't have a running back. We don't have we don't have someone to manage the game for us at this point. You know, and Devontae Adams wants the ball thrown to him, 150 times this year. You know? He deserves to get it thrown a lot. We need a big year out of him.
I think we just want to fast forward to the NFL.
Oh, we'll get there.
The hype is there.
Especially if the Yankees lose this weekend, the switch is gonna flip real quick.
I know.
Yeah. Your Knicks switch might come on real quick by week 7.
No, I'm not ready. I'm not ready to talk about basketball yet. I'll talk old school. I can't talk about. I got.
Let me know the NFL here. Well, I'm not talking about that anymore. We're on to the Knicks.
Yeah. No, let's give it some time.
I really think. Again, I'm going to say this. I think 3-3 is acceptable when you look at that schedule. Read off those first 6.
Yeah.
Read them off.
All right, so I know I'm bringing up. I know the first game we got the Bills. Then okay, so here's what I'm going to predict. I think the Jets beat the Bills first game. I do. I think the Cowboys game.
Where is that?
It's in Dallas. Very tough place to play.
Early in the season.
It's going to be a toss-up. I think that might be their first home game, the Cowboys. I'll put that I'm being conservative. I'm going to put it as a loss, but capability of winning. The Jets come home after that to play the Patriots. I think they go 2-1.
Yeah,
they play the Chiefs, which I'll be at that game, hopefully. I think they call me crazy. I think the Jets beat the Chiefs at home. I think they become 3-1.
Sometimes you get lucky with the Chiefs early in the season.
That's how I'm going with.
The Colts did last year, remember?
Correct. It's 3-1.
Okay.
But I do believe that even though they're going to Denver, that's another tough place to play. I have a feeling that they're going to lose that game. I just have a feeling.
How good Russell Wilson is by that point.
So I think they become 3-2. Wait, is that right? So they beat the Bills.
Yeah, you got them beating the Bills, the Chiefs,
and then they lose to the Eagles. 3-3. The best, I think, if they do beat the Broncos, they could be 4-2. That's it.
Well,
I think
if they come out, beat the Bills, and then go to Dallas and win, you're in a big driver's seat at that point. You'll be 2-0, and you got
going home for the Patriots. Yeah, I mean, listen,
you got very winnable. Then all of a sudden, all those games become winnable.
And then after that, those 6 games, you got the Giants, which is essentially a home game.
Yeah, they could beat the Giants.
You got the Chargers at home. You got the Raiders. Then you got the Bills in Buffalo. You got the Dolphins at home. You got the Falcons at home.
Beat the Falcons.
Texans at home.
Beat the Texans at home.
And the Dolphins away.
After that 3-3, you could probably go 8 and let's just say 8 more wins. 11-6.
And we predicted a 10 win or 11 win season. I think it's doable.
Right, 11-6, right, with the extra game, 11-6.
Yeah.
Maybe the wild card. Maybe it's the division. Who knows how good Buffalo and Miami are actually going to be? Who knows?
Let's see. Let's get to September.
Let's get to September healthy. All right. Garrett Wilson, tweaked the ankle, but I thought, to me, I think they just took him out because it's practice.
I think so too.
July 28th.
Yeah.
So, all right. Mike,
show.
We're up on 50-something minutes here, on a Friday. Normally we're asleep by now.
Usually we're asleep, but it was so entertaining today.
I like to go to bed. I like to go to bed by 6 o'clock on a Friday to wake up at 8 so I can stay up from 9 to 12 and watch Dan Abrams on Patrol Live.
There you go. I know you love that show.
I try to convince my son to do an On Patrol Live podcast. He says I'd come in and imitate one of the cops, this cop that grunts that goes, ugh. He goes, I'll come on the show. I go in and go, ugh, and then I leave.
I never watched On. Is it similar to Cops when it was like? Okay.
Yes. Yeah. It's just it's. I think they have like a 7-minute delay, but it's essentially live. They got
It's live.
it's live, 7-minute delay. Yeah. So they literally go as like they're pulling out, like crazy stuff happens, like insane, wild stuff. But like I said, I think it's good to see, what drugs do to people, what essentially drives a lot of the crime in the entire United States. And I think it's a good learning lesson for all of us constantly. So on top of it being a very entertaining show.
Yeah, I love the show. I love Cops when I was growing up.
Yeah. So I don't know. You have what do you have? Verizon out by you? I don't know what you have.
Yeah.
I think it's 692. It's the Reels channel.
Oh yeah, we have Reels.
Yeah. I think it's 692.
Okay.
They that's the 100th episode tonight, I think. Because it came by, it's been back a year already. Because it was originally, what was it originally called? Live PD. And it was on A&E, and then the whole George Floyd stuff happened, and A&E pulled it off.
Okay.
And then about a year and a half later, they came back on Reels to bring it back. So
speaking of 100th episode, we're getting close.
We have now completed 83. Before you know it, 90 will come, 95, and then somewhere around 90 to 95, we'll start promoting 100. We'll let people know what the plan is. We expect a lot of our audience to come out and see us live. We expect people to fly in from Arizona, our good fans over there, our friends in Singapore, Germany, all these countries. India, big fans in India.
We got a lot of fans in India.
Yeah, Brussels, I recently seen. Belgium, Canada, Mexico, and on top of New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut, and our fans in Georgia. There's people down there too. I don't know Florida, but I know Georgia. Yeah, maybe.
Can you believe it though? Like
Joy Taylor, maybe we can have her come out live.
Maybe she will.
From California. I'll invite her out.
Celebrate.
We'll probably have then we'll have to, get a bigger venue. Be like 1,000 people if she showed up.
I know. Be like, hey Joy. Oh, there's Vin and Mike back there.
Yeah, it's the Joy Taylor podcast tonight. We're over here.
We're here.
Let her do her thing. So, I saw she went on a safari. I don't know if
she's always traveling, doing something awesome.
Crazy stuff.
She lives.
Hey, listen,
You know what? She works hard, and she works hard.
She's still very young.
Yeah.
It's a good time to do all that stuff.
That's right.
People think, once you're north of like 30, you're old, and then once you're north of 50, you're ancient. It's times have changed, man. Like, what was it I looking at? Cheers. Have you ever seen the ages of the characters on Cheers when it first started?
How old were they?
They were like in their early 30s. Woody Harrelson was like in his 20s. Like crazy stuff. Like you look at George Wendt. Now he was, 100 pounds overweight, but I think he was like 32 when the show started.
But everyone looked older back then.
Yeah. Well, like when I watch some of these old like detective shows, and they show like real crimes back in like the late 70s, early 80s, these detectives look like they're 80 years old, and there's like those coats. They're all smoking. They're all got cigarettes, right? But they all look like they're 70, 80 years old. These guys are in their like 30s and 40s. They look so old. Like I'm just like, wow.
Well, you have to attest a lot of it to many people smoked back then.
That's a big thing. Definitely.
Smoking, and a lot of people, a lot of blue collar jobs, like and
people ate whatever they wanted. They never looked at diet.
All the dieting now that you see, like all these things on Instagram about dieting and health foods, there was none of that.
No.
Even when we were growing up, Vinny, like we were
How
talking
many
about
times did you eat McDonald's on a Friday when you were growing up?
all the time. I got
Yeah.
Happy Meals.
Yeah.
And then in my refrigerator, I was talking to Jonas about this today, like all the crap, like Coke, Diet Coke, Sprite, orange soda,
Snickers,
and then
Reese's peanut
Gushers.
butter cups, right? Like all the
No one knew any better. I see even pictures, right? And on the table, it's like Coke and Sprite, 7-Up. Like no one even knew. It was just so different. It was a different time.
Yep. Ice cream all the time, cakes.
I had coffee cakes. I stuffed my face.
How about devil dogs?
We had Twinkies, everything.
Twinkies, they're probably still in our stomachs.
So bad.
I just passed a 1985 Twinkie the other day. My 20-piece McNugget that I share with my brother.
No, I used to eat McDonald's all the time.
You all did.
You know what else I had? Remember Roy Rogers? I had that one. Roy's.
KFC, Kenny Rogers, Roy Rogers.
Kenny Rogers.
All that stuff. Remember Kenny Rogers there in Seinfeld?
Yeah. Kenny Rogers.
KFC. Oh man. Yeah, I remember getting the number 2 at McDonald's, which was the 2 cheeseburgers, supersized. Remember, you used the supersize.
Oh yeah, the super size with the big ass freaking soda.
The big soda, the big fries.
But you couldn't even drink like half of it.
And then I would share a 20-piece McNugget with my brother. So I'm eating 2 cheeseburgers, 10 McNuggets, a big fries. Probably 12 years old. I probably just put in 3,000 calories in my body.
Were you like a skinny kid or like a heavier kid?
Skinny, just like my kids are. Very.
You were wow.
Yeah, very
a skinny Vinny.
Yeah. I had like a growth spurt. Like I went from, let's say, like 5 feet to like 5'5" in like a month, right?
Wow.
So when you grow that tall so fast, you don't really put the weight on. So I look like a string bean. My mother took me to the pediatrician because he was worried. Well, she was worried that I'm not, why is he so skinny and all this. And the doctor yelled at her like, "There's nothing wrong with him. Leave him alone. This is It's like, okay, that was it. So I tell you, like I think once I hit about 25, I put on like all this like massive like weight out of nowhere, and then that's when you start thinking about like the gym and all this other stuff. And then
I
haven't been under 200 pounds in 25 years.
I gotta tell you a ridiculous story. This is great. It'll crack you up. I don't know. I was just thinking about McDonald's and places I used to eat, still places I still go, and one of them is Dunkin' Donuts. Love Dunkin'.
Yeah.
But back, the Dunkin' Donuts story was more of a gift card. So basically, we have Easy Pass all over now. It's all over. But I was driving back to college once, and you still had to put the coins in, which you still do at some of the toll booths, right? So I realized I don't have any money in my pocket, right? Nothing. So I freaked out. I don't know why, because I couldn't do anything. So I took a Dunkin' Donuts gift card and I threw it in the thing. I'm like, okay, this should be okay. Like a freaking idiot.
What's the thought process?
There was none. Stupid college student.
It's amazing how dumb we are at 18 and like 22.
So dumb.
And that's like when you're like your prime college years, right? That's when 30 years later you go on a job interview and they're like, oh, what did you major in college? Beer drinking. What does it matter? 30 years later now.
Oh yeah, what is your GPA?
I've been in the workforce for 30 years. I don't even remember what my degree was in.
Hello, Vinny. You want to be in this area? What was your major?
So funny. But again, this is why it always cracks me up, because we're judging people again in this 4-year period that they could do these high level positions.
I know.
And meanwhile, half these people are throwing Dunkin' Donuts cards at people. Oh, so do you like a classic like Dunkin' Donut, or do you get like a Boston cream? Like, what do you get?
I always like my favorite donuts glazed. Always look.
I can definitely see you taking a glazed and shoving in your mouth in one bite, because those things like crumble, like when you get them, like that whole donut like shrinks. So I can just see you putting it right in and then taking your coffee and jugging it down.
Yeah, and getting crumbs all over the place.
And then your wife is yelling at you.
She jokes around because it's like you get crumbs all over the place. Like,
put that friggin' donut down, you mess.
Yeah.
Talking about crumbs, I gotta eat some dinner. All right, let's sign off, Mike. Oh, I don't have a script.
You gotta listen.
Let me.
Next week, bring the script.
Always next week. Why? You gotta remind me. Like
Right.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you. This has been a wonderful show. Even though it ended not with sports, it ended with Dunkin' Donuts today. And right now, if you go to your local Dunkin' and say, I like Mike Diener. I like you, Mike Diener. You might get a
Hey, Vinny, go watch your cop show, okay? Go watch your cop show. Go watch some Paw Patrol.
And get yourself a number 2 from McDonald's. I think now they're no longer $2.99. But if you mention Vin and Mike, they might throw you in a bonus.
Hey, if you go to McDonald's and say Vin and Mike, get 99 cents. Goodbye. Get out of here.
See you later.